Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Number 92, January 25th, 2014. The SHILOH GT has begun, and this is the battle report for Game 1. This is it. This is what all the practice has been for, all the whining, all the blood, tears, sweat, and yeah, other bodily fluids. I'm not going to say right now because I don't want an explicit rating on this video. But yep, my very first opponent is Cody Wilkerson of the Skaven, and I did get permission to use people's names, so calm down, everybody who's going to be like, "Oh, you shouldn't use names." They said it was cool, so back off. But yeah, 2,500 point battle, Lord Tremendous of the Warriors of Chaos versus Cody Wilkerson of the Skaven. Real cool guy. It was like 8:15 in the morning. The first thing he asked me is if I wanted a beer. I was very tempted. I was so nervous. I'm sitting here like a kid about to go up in front of the class to give a presentation or something, like grade school nervous. And he's like, "You want a beer?" And my first instinct was like, "Yes." Very cool guy. I'm glad I got to meet this guy. Here's the scenario for this one. It was normal deployment, 12 inches in from the board edge, but the special rule for this one was don't exchange army lists. During deployment, we set up a blind, which was basically this big piece of cardboard that set up right in the middle of the table. And it really did. I mean, unless you were a dick and actually looked over the cardboard, which neither of us did, you couldn't see how your opponent was deploying. It was basically both opponents deployed their entire army at once. So while your opponent's deploying his army, you're deploying yours. You have no idea how he's deploying. Don't look at your opponent's deployment. The player that didn't choose sides gets the +1 to go. I think we just rolled off, to be honest with you, because usually sides didn't matter. The victory conditions for this one were going to be normal right out of the victory conditions from the Big Red Book. But the extra bonus points were garrisoning the house, getting a unit of troops inside of a house on your table would be an extra 150 victory points. For each table quarter you control, you get 50 victory points. And the way you control a table is to have a unit with a banner in that corner, and there's no opponent banner in that corner. Whoever has the most banners in that corner wins. If it's tied, no victory points are given. And then you got plus 200 victory points for completing your secret mission. And there were, in a folder that they gave you for the GT, there was a page in there that had 8 different secret missions, and you could only pick the secret mission once per the tournament. And you had to choose a different one each time, obviously. But for the one that I chose on this one was number 2, Lay the Smack Down. And the mission there was to kill the enemy general while keeping mine alive. So shh, don't tell him. Here's my list. It's my SHILOH 2014 list. If you've seen one, you've seen my last 15, 20 battle reports, you've seen this list. I have my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. He's got the Mark of Tzeentch. He's a level 3 wizard. He's got Chaos Armor, Charm Shield, Dragon Bane Gem, Other Trickster's Shard, Soul Feeder, Scaled Skin, and he uses the Flaming Breath, and he uses the Laura Metal because I like it. Final Transmutation is just way too good. My hero choices: my Exalted Hero, Catalyst, Keeper of the Colors. He's my BSB. He's got the Mark of Tzeentch. He's got a Halberd, Chaos Deed, Helm of Many Eyes, and a Dawnstone. I have an Exalted Hero, Berserk. He's got the Mark of Khorne, Extra Hand Weapon, Luckstone, Dragon Helm, and the Crown of Command. And of course, my Chaos Sorcerer, Saval, the Mercenary of Chaos. He's got the Mark of Tzeentch. He's level 2 Wizard. He's on a demonic mount named Packhog. He's got the Warrior Bane, Enchanted Shield, Skull Katam, Talisman of Protection, and Laura Tzeentch. My core choices consist of my 5 Chaos Warhounds with Scaled Skin, 23 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide with the Mark of Khorne, Full Command, Halberds, and the Banner of Fury, and of course my Chariot, the Vessel of Change, with the Mark of Tzeentch. My special choice were my 5 Chaos Knights, the Teeth of Tzeentch, with Mark of Tzeentch and Sorcelled Weapons, Banner Musician, and the Standard of Discipline. My rare choices consisted of my 3 Skull Crushers, Khorne's Wrath, with Banner Musician, Lances, and a Banner of Swiftness. And of course, the model I can't play without, the Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. My opponent's list was as follows. He had a Vermin Lord with the Doomglaive, and he also had a Warlord, who I believe was his actual general. Yeah, it was his actual general, with heavy armor and a shield. His hero choices were his chieftain with a BSB with a heavy armor and shield, and 2 warlock engineers. One had a doom rocket and one had a dispel scroll. His core choices were 2 units of 20 clan rats with standard light armor and a poison wind mortar weapons team, and 3 units of 63 Skaven slaves. That's right, 63 Skaven slaves. His special choices consisted of 3 units of gutter runners, 2 were 7-man units, and 1 was 8-man. And his rare choices were 2 hell pit abominations and a doom wheel. And I was just thrilled not to see a warp lightning cannon. I gotta be honest with you. Here's deployment. No plan at all. I had no clue whatsoever how he was deploying, so I just threw my stuff down, kind of masked me up in the center there. That way, whatever he had, I could go after in force. Here's my opponent's right flank. There's his gutter runners that have come up scouting a little bit there. And of course, his doom wheel just kind of hanging out on the outskirts, not knowing where to go. Here's his center, which really consists of the rest of his army from left to right. Slaves, clan rats with his BSB attached, the little weapon team in front, Hell Pit Abomination, another huge brick of slaves, another brick of clan rats with his warlord and caster. I'm not sure which one. I think that was the one with the dispel scroll. Inside that unit of slaves in the middle is his warlock engineer with the doom rocket. Right there next to the other Hell Pit Abomination is his other weapons team, and then another huge brick of Skaven slaves, and there's his little vermin lord on the right side there. Kind of cut off, sorry about that. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Skull Crushers. My center, which from the right to left is the Beast, the Warriors with Berserk, Saval, my Knights with Catalyst, and of course, the Chariot. And my left flank, which consists of my dogs and my Demon Prince. Here are my spells, 3 from Metal, 2 from Tzeentch, 1 from the Beast. And I did not get my opponent's spells because he doesn't own any cards, and to be honest with you, when you're playing in a tournament, you don't want to be holding up it. It's bad enough I'm taking time to take all these pictures, and my opponents are being cool enough to let me take the pictures. With everything going on and the semi-stress we're under, because we all want to do well, we didn't come here to lose. I didn't bother to ask, I saw he didn't have cards, so once he wrote down what he had, that was good enough for me. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I got to go first! Yay! I move my dogs up and kind of use them as a screen so that his Doom Wheel can't get a hold of my Demon Prince first thing and blow him off the table. Other than that, everything else just moves up, and I'll have to adapt to however he moves. During the magic phase, the Beast gets a spell off on the slaves. I was hoping and praying for the number 6 spell, but instead I got the number 3. And I end up raising their toughness by 1 and lowering their strength by 1. So that was actually kind of cool. Then I'm able to get Searing Doom off on his Doom Wheel. The hope was to just kill it, but I end up doing 3 wounds to it, which is pretty respectable. It does end up going a little crazy. It scatters towards the slaves right there and does nothing, so that's too bad. I was really kind of hoping it would go like back or way off to the side or get trapped in a forest or something. So we go to bottom 1 after movement, and as you can see, they come forward. The Hell Pit Abominations roll great. One of them rolled like a 16 or a 17, the painted one in the forest. The other one rolled like a 15. So the Hell Pit Abominations were on me fast. The Doom Wheel was a little bit more conservative. It moved up towards the dogs, but believe it or not, the slaves, the way he maneuvered them, were closer than the dogs. His Gutter Runners run up to basically negate my Charm Shield off my Demon Prince. And the rest of his stuff just kind of swarms up like vermin usually do. During his magic phase, nothing happens, but during his shooting phase, he uses his Doom Rocket, and that's where it lands. It missed me by faith. I felt very lucky. Something else shoots at me. I don't remember what it was, but one of my warriors goes down, which is sad. And then the Doom Wheel fails its leadership check and shoots off 3 slaves, which nobody cares about. So we go to top of 2 after movement, and since he threw everything in front of me, I took the bait. My Demon Prince and my Chariot slam into the slaves. In order to do that, my dogs had to charge the Doom Wheel, which is why they did. My knights charged the Hell Pit Abomination that was in front of them. The warriors charged the Hell Pit Abomination that was in front of them. And the beast and the Skull Crushers charged the unit of slaves that were in front of them. The only thing not in combat right now is Saval, because he has no business in combat. He's my catapult, cannon, whatever. There's a better picture of the Skull Crushers and Mutila teaming up to kill slaves. And a better picture of my warriors slamming into the Hellpit Abomination. I really didn't know how good of an idea this was, but if I didn't charge that thing, it was going to charge me, so I just went for it. And there's my knights and my BSB slamming into the other abomination. And there's my demon prince and my chariot slamming into the slaves, because hey, I got to start whittling them down somehow, right? And there's the dogs. They had to be sacrificed so that they could get past, so that my demon prince could get past them and charge the slaves. During the magic phase, I get the beast spell off on the clan rats, and I roll a 4. And I was actually very excited about that because I figured if I could bounce it a few times, I could get rid of his weapon teams, right? Nope, I roll a 2 for toughness. He takes 2 toughness checks on the first unit of clan rats, and I try to bounce it, and I roll a 2. So it doesn't bounce or anything, total waste. And he makes both of his toughness checks for his clan rats. He rolls like a 1 and a 2. It was like, oh, well, that sucked. That could have been a hell of a lot better. So I vent my frustration on the slaves and end up killing like, I don't know, 15 or whatever it was, some crazy amount. But hey, they're steadfast and they don't go anywhere. Over here, my warriors, although they do take a beating, they end up breaking the Hell Pit Abomination and running it down and slamming into the Vermin Lord. And at the moment, I was like, well, that could be good, with combat res and everything like that. I figured give my unit champion up to this guy, he kills him, whoop-de-doo, and with charge rank banner to whatever he does to my, what's it called? Unit champion, I've still got him by 3, maybe I'll be lucky. In combat over here, the Doom Wheel actually fails to do anything, or he fails to kill off the unit to a man. The one dog survives and breaks, and the Doom Wheel fails his restraint roll and goes after the dog and catches it, but he goes through the forest. He takes his D3, or he takes his, whatever it is, D3 strength 4 hits or whatever, but it doesn't do any wounds. So we go into combat over here with the Demon Prince and the Chariot, and I kill a handful of the slaves. They're steadfast, and they don't go anywhere. Over here, my Knights and my BSB are able to put 5 wounds on the Abomination, and that's it. They take 1 for their trouble. I win this combat by a boatload, but he makes his break check, and that sucks. So we go to bottom of 2 after movement, and as you can see, the slaves slam into the warriors that are in combat with the Vermin Lord, and the Doom Wheel runs over to shoot up my Demon Prince, who he can easily shoot because I'm in combat with slaves. That's when I realized the trick. I was like, oh crap, that's right, he can still shoot me when I'm in combat if it's with slaves. Meanwhile, a unit of Gutter Runners shows up in the back end of the board to harass Saval. Here's a better picture of these tide of vermin slamming into the warriors, and that's really bad. During his magic phase, his Vermin Lord gets Cloud of Corruption off and kills 2 of my knights, 1 of my warriors, and that's it, which really sucked. And then his Warp Flame, or Warp Fire team, or whatever, the Mortar team fires at my chariot, and as you can see right here, it deviates into the slaves and kills a decent amount of them, actually, I think like 13 die. Not that it's going to help me right away, but it's better than nothing. Meanwhile, his Doom Wheel actually failed to wound me. He rolled a 2 for the strength, so my Demon Prince actually got lucky there. But in combat, we go over here, and the Hell Pit Abomination finishes off my knights and regen or ward saves all the wounds that my BSB does to him. So that sucks. I think I lose this combat. I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure I am, actually. I lose this combat because he does 2 wounds on my banner. But I'm, with my Demon Prince right there, I'm a leadership 8 with a reroll, so I make it. Thank God. The Demon Prince and the Chariot kill off a bunch more slaves, but hey, they're steadfast, so it doesn't matter. And same over here. The Beast and the Skull Crushers kill a bunch of slaves. They're steadfast. They don't care. Over here, it doesn't go quite as well. The Vermin Lord destroys the unit champion, and the slaves are able to kill one of my warriors. I flub my attacks into the slaves. However, I am able to kill his Warlock off that was in that unit, so that was cool. I got like 8 points, so that was really thrilling. But I don't do nearly as much to the slaves as I needed to. I think I end up winning this combat, but it doesn't matter. Everybody stays. And during combat over here, my BSB puts the final wound off on the Hellpit Abomination. It is dead, dead, dead. He rolls on the chart, and he rolled like a 1 or a 2, so it wasn't coming back. And since he killed a monster, he got to roll in the Out of Gods chart, and he gets +1 armor save, which defaults to a reroll, which he actually never ends up using. So we go to top of 3 after movement, and since my BSB combat reformed after killing the Abomination, he looked at the Doom Wheel and charged it, because I needed that thing dead, dead, dead before it could dead my Demon Prince. Saval turns around to deal with the Gutter Runners. In hindsight, I wish I had brought him up to deal with the unit of Clan Rats that had his General and stuff in it. It would have been a lot nicer to get rid of that. But I was a little nervous about getting him too close to combats and stuff like that because his leadership has taken hits from the Skull of Catan. Other than that was pretty much it for movement. We pretty much go straight into combat because my magic phase is useless and I don't shoot. I kill a bunch of slaves and they're steadfast. Over here, my BSB is able to actually quite easily kill the Doom Wheel. I was very impressed with Catalyst. So he's killed an Abomination and a Doom Wheel pretty much by himself. Over here, these slaves are on point. I kill a boatload of them. They attack back, and they actually have managed to get 3 wounds off on the Skull Crushers, and 1 dies. So, wow. These slaves are something else. And then over here, since I have no choice, my Exalted Hero has to issue a challenge, and the Vermin Lord literally curb stomps him. He makes him bite the curb and everything. It was not pretty. He's the only casualty, but unfortunately I lose this combat just due to ranks and the amount of damage he does. Because again, I flub, and we break and we get run down. So that's where the Vermin Lord and the slaves end up. So that sucked. So we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and lo and behold, not only do his slaves not charge Saval, but either do his Gutter Runners and either does his Vermin Lord. I thought Saval was a dead man, and he didn't charge, and I think this was my opponent's first mistake. It might have been his only mistake, but I believe that was a mistake because leaving Saval alive is 200 plus points that he had easily dead to rights. Even with the slaves, he just had, charge, rear, flank, wherever he was. And 3 ranks to what? If I did 4, 5 wounds tops, I'm still screwed. I need like a 4 or 5 to stay, and my BSB is way out of range. I figured he had Saval, and no, he decided, screw that, I'm going somewhere else. The Vermin Lord runs over to deal with the BSB, and the slaves refuse to charge, as well as the Gutter Runners. During his magic phase, he gets Cloud of Corruption off again, and does a wound to my Demon Prince, a wound to my BSB, 3 wounds to my Chariot, and I think 2 or 3 wounds to my beast. Yeah, that friggin' spell irritates the crap out of me. I don't fault my opponent for using it. I would use it like I used to use Cacophonic Choir, but oh my god, that spell! It's killing me! And Saval also ends up taking a wound from that stupid Cloud of Corruption spell. During combat, we beat up on the slaves a little bit more, and their steadfast don't go anywhere. And right here, the Mutalith and the Skull Crushers kill all but like 10, 12, I don't know, I think it's 10 of the slaves, and they're still steadfast and don't go anywhere. So we go to top of 4. And for the most part, my BSB, I think he either fails to march, like he's not allowed to march. I think I failed my march check or whatever. And so he moves forward, or he charged something. Maybe he charged something. No, I don't think he charged anything. I think he just failed his march block check. And so he comes forward a little bit, which sucks because I really needed him to do something else. And other than that, Saval just kind of runs away. He takes the moment, and he's going to try to pop the Vermin Lord with whatever spells he's got. We go into combat because my magic phase is easily dispelled, and my Chariot gets popped. They're able to slip that last wound through. Over here, though, finally, the Mutalith and the Skull Crushers are able to finish off all the slaves. They die to a man, and they turn to face his General's unit and his BSB's unit, because I want those points. I've earned them. So we go to bottom of 4 after movement, and it turned out that where my BSB ended up, his Vermin Lord could just see the ass end of him, and he charged and made it. I thought about fleeing with my BSB, and then I was like, you know what? I can't because he's immune to psychology, thanks. because of the Helm of Many Eyes. So he stands and takes it, and the Vermin Lord has no problem slamming into him. Meanwhile, his slaves stay right where they're at, and his Gutter Runners stay right where they're at. But his BSB, his general, and his remaining caster, chief, whatever he is, run out of their units and form a little impromptu unit right there where nobody can charge them, which I thought was a little odd. I do understand why he ran him out of there, because if the Mutalith and the Skullcrusher slammed in there, they'd have him no problem. But I didn't expect him to run out like that. So interesting, because now I can target him, which I was really excited about. I was looking forward to my next Magic phase. So yeah, we go pretty much straight into combat, and yeah, the Vermin Lord just immediately guts my BSB. His initiative is like a 9 or something like that, and he slipped one through, and that's all that matters. And I mean, it did D3 wounds, but he already was my BSB was already carrying a wound anyway. So even if he only did one, he was dead. But my BSB did really good this game, so I'm not complaining. Meanwhile, Tremendous is pissed. He kills off the remaining slaves, heals all of his wounds, turns to face the little impromptu brick of characters, and we go to top of 5, because now I need to get him. I need the points. I've lost too much. He hasn't lost enough. So my Demon Prince charges his characters, and they flee and they get away. My Beast and my Skullcrushers charge his Clan Rats, and they pass their terror check and stand. Meanwhile, Saval runs behind that little barricade there to just fire his spells off at the Vermin Lord, and that's pretty much that. There's a better picture of the 3 characters running away from the Demon Prince's charge. And there's a better picture of the Beast and the Skullcrusher slamming into the Clan Rats, because they have to die because I need points. My magic phase is actually dispelled very handily. I tried to kamikaze cast and everything, and he just stopped everything that I threw at him. So we went into combat, and my Skullcrushers and Mutalith are easily able to destroy the Clan Rats. The ensuing panic checks are all passed. My Skullcrushers have to overrun, and they end up overrunning into the Clan Rats. My Mutalith, on the other hand, turns to face the characters because I want to try to get him with his spell. So, where you go to bottom of 5 after movement, and as you can see, his Vermin Lord has Delusions of Grandeur and charges into my Demon Prince. And the Gutter Runners show up and charge over to try to take out the Mutalith before he can do anything to him. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what happened here. His General and his BSB both take a wound. I know there was a valid reason for it to happen. I want to say maybe like his engineer misfired or something like that, or miscast, but I didn't seem to take a picture of it. Played a lot of games, did a lot of crazy stuff this weekend, so I don't recall what caused the BSB and the general to take a wound, but they both are carrying a wound now, so that's actually kind of cool. During his shooting phase, the massed shots from all the Gutter Runners get 2 wounds slip through on the Beast, and he dies, and that sucks. Absolutely hate it when my Beast dies. He was doing so well this game, too. We get into combat over here, and my Skullcrushers kill all but like 2 or 3 of these guys, and they break, and I run them down no problem, and I end up overrunning into the little weapons team, which actually made its break check, so that was actually kind of cool. Over here in combat, my Demon Prince is able to put 2 wounds on the Vermin Lord, 2 or 3 wounds, something like that. I think he had like 1 wound left. And he breaks, but I didn't go after the Vermin Lord because I wanted to complete my secret objective, and that was killing the what's it called? The general. Also, the way he fled, he was really close to Saval. Like, Saval was 6 inches away from him, so I figured Saval would charge him and run him down, right? So there was no reason to go after him, and I could send my Demon Prince after his other stuff and get more points that way. So that was the gamble that I took, and that's why I didn't pursue. So we go to top of 6 after movement, and wouldn't you know it, Saval fails me. I charge my Demon Prince at his characters, and they flee. So I redirect into the Gutter Runners, and they flee like 3 inches, and I actually catch them. That's why my Demon Prince is where he's at. Meanwhile, Saval charges the Vermin Lord, who flees. The Vermin Lord goes about 8 inches. I need like an accident to hit him. It wouldn't have even been hard. I roll a 5, a 3, a 2, and a 1. I miss him by an inch. By an inch, I miss him. Meanwhile, the slaves that were close to where the gutter runners were, when the gutter runners got hit by the demon prince, they were destroyed. So the unit broke within 6, caused the slaves to flee. Saval misses hitting them too, like where he ends up because they failed charge. He doesn't even hit the slaves. He could have been like a double whammy. And oh, damn it! So many missed opportunities there by Saval. It really disappointed me. Yeah. There's a better picture of where the gutter runners were when they got caught and thunder stomped into the ground by Tremendous. And that's where Saval misses the Vermin Lord, literally by an inch. Oh, I almost had him. But not to be outdone, my luck kicks in and I get the big Searing Doom off, the 2d6 version on his characters, right? I end up doing 6. I rolled really low. On 2d6, I rolled a 6. So each model got 2. And his Warlock Engineer didn't have any armor, so I couldn't hurt him. His BSB had a 4-up armor, and I rolled like 2 3s, which pissed me off. But then his General had a 4-up armor, and I rolled 2 5s, or something like that, a 4 and a 5, and I killed his General. Last chance to do it, and I complete my secret mission. I was very happy. And then just the coup de grace, my Skullcrushers kill off the last weapons team, earning me the 13 points that thing was worth. So we go to bottom of 6 after movement, and really all that happens is his... actually, a big thing happens. The slaves rally. The Vermin Lord does not. He rolls boxcars. So the Vermin Lord continues to flee. His BSB and his Warlock Engineer also failed to rally. They continue to flee, but they don't run off the table. And his 2 remaining units of Gutter Runners run over to fire their stars at my Skullcrushers and just trying to secure those points. And they don't do terrible. They end up doing 2 wounds to him. Not enough to kill him, which was good, but it was 2 more wounds than I thought they were going to be able to do. But that's it. That's the end of the game. And here's what the board looks like. One hell of a game, let me tell you. Oh, man. I mean, it was close the entire time. And, well, you know, we'll get to the recap in a minute because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Tokens, fellas. Tokens, tokens, tokens. Wound counters, augment markers, hex markers, every status, ailment, and effect you can think of, from not being able to move to the lore attributes to the lore hexes and bonuses that they provide. Everything that you can think of that you could need a marker for, that we use dice for. Token Grail makes the tokens. Send her an email, tell her what you need. Any gaming system, from Magic the Gathering to Infinity to Malifaux to 40k to Fantasy, whatever you need tokens for, she will make them, and they come out they're flawless. Look at them. They're the glass beads. They magnify the words in the picture, so they're really easy to see from, you know, the tabletop and everything like that. They're a lot more accurate than dice, and they're dirt cheap, guys. She sells them for less than $10 a kit. Dirt cheap prices, solid gold quality. Totally worth it. Send her an email, get yourself some tokens. The only request that I make is that if you are overseas, if you're outside of America, before you send her an email, you have to understand that shipping prices are through the roof. So as long as you're okay with paying like $30+ shipping fees, don't send her an email, because it's just going to waste both your times. But if you are in America or you don't mind high shipping fees, then by all means, send her an email, get yourself some tokens. Totally worth it. Yep, in the end, after points were all totaled up, I pulled off a victory. It was a squeaker. Har, 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 har. See what I did there? I ended up getting 1,842 victory points from him, and that is with all the extra bonus stuff like the corners and the secret mission points and everything like that. And he got 1,647 from me for an 11-9 victory to Lord Tremendous. Oh, and it turned out in the end, if I hadn't have gotten my secret mission and killed his general, I never would have won. It would have been a tie, or it would have been in his favor, actually. So it was going to be 11-9 either way, but whose direction it was going to go in was all thanks to that Searing Doom at the end. That was huge. I ended up losing my BSB, Berserk, my Warhounds, my Warriors, my Chariot, my Knights, and my Bee. So I lost a ton. The Skaven ended up losing their general. Woohoo! One engineer, 2 units of slaves, both units of clan rats, their doom wheel, both abominations, a weapons team, and 1 unit of gunner runners. That Hail Marrying Searing Doom, securing my special mission points, is what won me the game. Wow, that was lucky as hell. Believe it or not, I did buy a scratch-off ticket later, and I didn't win shit. I was really upset about that. That Cloud of Corruption spell that his Vermin Lord was casting was almost worse than Cacophonic Choir. At least it didn't make it so that I was moving D6 inches, but oh my god, that spell was killing me. And the funny part is I was throwing every Dispel die I had at it, and I was missing Dispelling it by like 1 or 2. It was frustrating. And another thing is Vermin Lords are no joke. With that D3 wound glaive thing that they have, yeah, next time I see a Vermin Lord on the table, every spell I got is going after him because he is a pain. Catalyst was on point this game too. Killed off an abomination almost solely by himself, and then finished off the Doom Wheel. It's too bad that he didn't survive the attacks from the Vermin Lord. I would have loved to see how he would have fared against him. Probably the best Skaven general I've ever encountered, like in the history of me playing Warhammer. And that's not saying anything against any Skaven player I've ever played before. They've all been, good to different degrees, but this guy, it was just, he was really good with them. Really good with them. And he gave me beer, so, I can be bought. But really impressed with him. I told him as much too. He was probably the best damn Skaven general I've ever played against. So I was very happy to have been able to meet this guy and get a game in against him. Real cool guy, real stand-up guy. And like I said, just made me laugh. One of the first things he asked me at like 8:30 in the morning is, "Do you want a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah." But definitely fun games. I really like the close ones like this where you don't know who's going to win until the very end. It was just a really great game all around. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. It was really cool. My opponent was a real cool guy. Like, this is the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with on a regular basis. And a real talented Skaven player. So I was happy to get this game in. And it was also, a victory. Granted, a small one, but I'll take a victory, especially at a GT. It was a fun way to start one out. But yeah, so far, Lord Tremendous has 11 battle points in the Shiloh GT 2012. So yeah, very happy about how this one all worked out. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report and this game. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.